Okay, so now let's explore some other widgets in Flutter to fill up our screen a little bit. First, want to add an app bar to the screen. The scaffold widget has an app bar property that we can make use of. We know this by click on the Control key on your keyboard and then the space bar. This would bring out the list of all the available properties inside of a widget. And here is the property we're looking for, which is the app bar. There is also an app bar widget. I'll close that with parentheses, and if I click save, you see that an app bar has been placed at the very top of the scaffold. The app bar itself has its own properties. You see the title, background color, center title, and so on. Let's start off with changing the color of the background. So I will be using different shades of black. Please go ahead to explore all the colors that are available and make your application look way more prettier than mine. So I would start off with shade of black. I'll pick black 12. Save that. We see the color of the app bar has changed. Now the app bar looks quite empty, so I'd like to display this hello world text inside of the app bar. To do that, I would be using the title property of the app bar widget. When you hover over a property, you get to see what kind of value it expects. So this is expecting a widget. So I'm going to just copy this text widget that already displays hello world and paste it inside of the title property. Be careful not to copy this extra comma so that we do not, so it doesn't throw an error. Okay, so I'll save, and we see hello world text displayed in the app bar. We can also make our app bar standard across devices. What do I mean? On iOS devices, the title of the app bar is aligned at the center, and on Android, it's aligned to the left. So we can make it standard across all devices by giving a value to the center title property of the app bar widget. When you hover over, you see that it expects a type of bool. So we either give it true or false. True if we want the app bar to be aligned at the center across all devices, and false if we do not want that. Oops, false. When I click save, you see that the title is aligned to the left. It looks a lot better at the middle, so I'm just going to leave it at true. Another widget that we'd like to modify is the text widget. At the moment, it's just very plain. Let's spice it up a little bit, make it look a bit better. And to do so, be exploring yet another widget, which is the container widget. We're going to replace this center widget right here with a container. When I click save, you see that first the text is no longer aligned at the center. And also, our text looks as though it is still just a text and there is nothing, it's not wrapped in anything. So let's also change that. Well, let's even confirm that the text is actually wrapped in a container. So the container has a decoration property that we can use to style the widgets. And the decoration property takes in a box decoration. So Control Spacebar to see all of the properties inside of the box decoration. We have the color, border radius. Let's first of all change the color of the container. Back to my black. I'm going to pick a different shade of black now. I'll go with black 26. Don't forget your trailing comma for good formatting. So I'll save that. And we see that truly our text is wrapped in a container. We see that the color of the background has changed. Okay, let's also spread out our container a bit. We're going to give it a height and a width. To make the container fill out nicely, let's give it a height of say 200 and a width of 300. And I save that. Okay, our container has filled out a bit, but we see that the text is really, really close to the top. It's hitting the top of the container. To prevent that or place our text at the middle, we can either wrap the text widget in a center widget like we did before, or we can make use of the alignment property of the container. So this helps us to align the child of the container to any part of the container. You can choose the top right, bottom right, center, center left, and so on. So we have the alignment. We see all the options available. In this case, we just want to align the text at the center. So I'll do that and click save. And there we have it, our text centered inside of the container. Our text as well doesn't look so great. We're not going to add too much of style. We should at least change the color of the text and increase its thickness. We can do that by making use of the style property of the text widget. So we have style, and when you hover over style, we see that we expect a text style. So we're going to give it just that. We close out with parentheses. And inside of the text style, you see that there is the color property, font weight, font size, background color, and so on. Let's first of all increase the size of the text. We do that with the font size property, which takes in a double. So I'll just give the text about 20 pixels and click save. Okay, our text looks a bit better. At least we can see the text more clearly now. Then we can change the color of the text. Let's just give it a color white. Okay, then we can also increase the thickness of the text. Give it a font weight. Just give it a font weight of bold. Don't forget your trailing comma. Then save. And our text at least looks a bit bigger and more legible. Okay, so we also notice that the container is really close to the app bar. We can give a space between the container and the app bar by making use of the margin property of the container widget. The margin adds space between the widget and its surroundings. So let's give value to the margin property inside of the container widget now. We cannot give values to the margin property directly, so we have to make use of edge insets. We can either add the margin to all parts of the container or to certain parts of the container. This one is from left, top, right, bottom. We can also add a margin to just one side of the container. So we either choose the left, the top, and others. We can also add margins symmetrically, that is either to the horizontal axis of the container or the vertical axis. I would like to just add margin to all parts of the container, so I'll select all, then give it a value, say 20. I'll save that, and that looks much better. Now, perhaps we want to display multiple widgets vertically. That is, we want this container to appear more than one time. We can do that by wrapping the container widget in a column. So the column widget doesn't have a child property as we would see in a bit. So we select that, wrap with column, and we see that it doesn't have a child property, but a children property. That's because it vertically creates a list of widgets. We see that when I copy this container, I can paste it as many times as I want inside of the column widget. Be careful while you're copying and pasting so that we do not make any errors. So I'll paste that, I'll paste it again, and one last time. Okay, so when I save, we see that we see that the container is displayed multiple times, and we also notice there is an overflow error at the bottom of the screen. This is because the column widget isn't a scrollable widget, hence we cannot scroll to see all the parts of the other widgets that are inside of the column. The reason why we're seeing this error is because there is no more space available to display this container with a height of 200 and a width of 300. To fix this error, we would just need to wrap our containers in yet another widget called the expanded. The expanded widget makes each child take up the space that is available. Let's see how that works. So I would wrap this container with the widgets and give it the name expanded. So I'm just going to do the same for the other containers, and we get to see the effect of the expanded widget. So I'd replace the containers on the screen with expanded like so. And then the last one there. So when I save, you see that although we gave our containers a defined height, they have all been resized to be able to accommodate all of the containers that are inside of the column. That is the work of the expanded widget. We can also display widgets horizontally, and we do that using the row widget. So just like the column widget, I'm just going to select one of the containers and wrap in a row like so. So just like the container widget, the row also doesn't have a child property but children. So that means that we can paste in as many containers as we want. So I'll copy that container and I'll paste it, say, 4 times as well. So I'll just paste it. Yeah, that's the last one. Okay, so when I click save now, we see that there is yet another overflow error. So as a test, make the widgets in the row resize and fill up the available space.